Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Raw Ring Report. What a Raw Ring Report we have for you coming up as Edge and The Miz. We know Edge and The Miz can't stand each other after they made their returns last week on Raw. Well, Edge joins The Miz on the Miz talk show, Miz TV. Will there be some more heated confrontation between the two? And what's going to happen when these two bustable elements explode? Also, too, Kevin Owens takes on Big E inside of a 15-foot solid steel cage. The rivalry continues after Kevin Owens wants what Big E has, and that's the WWE Championship. These two men start Monday Night Raw inside of a 15-foot solid steel cage. Would things get a little bit intense? Only time will tell on that. And also, too, a big tight fight field as Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, defends her championship against Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, the number one contender. Liv Morgan, who I consider the most underrated performer in the WWE right now in the women's division. Liv Morgan wants to prove that she wants the Raw Women's Championship to conclude her career. Will Liv do it? Only time will tell on that. And on Hot Topics this week. Tonight, we will finally find out where Johnny Gargano lays his hat. Will he stay or will he go? I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on Hot Topics on what Johnny Gargano should do and what's next for him. Also, too, huge news on major news on MLW with Alex, what's his name? Will Ospreay. Well, Ospreay and MLW couldn't no longer come to a term of agreement after MLW was going to get with Ospreay, but things changed. And I'll figure out why. And also, too, the Jeff Hardy incident. What's going on with Jeff Hardy? We'll have like some fan footage of what's going on with Jeff Hardy, and we'll try to investigate what's going on with Jeff Hardy. Man, there's a lot going on today on the Pro Wrestling Show, present the Raw Ring Report, which starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Diggs here. Thank you for joining us here on the Pro Wrestling Show for the Raw Ring Report this week. But first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the WWE Raw Ring Report. So we kick off WWE Raw with this Big E versus Kevin Owens inside of a 15-foot solid steel cage. We know Big E and Kevin Owens will meet with Seth Rollins in a triple threat match at day one for the WWE title. But these two underrated performers, Big E, the WWE champion, and Kevin Owens, decided to put their differences inside of a steel cage. So the steel cage was that. Even on an interesting note, that Kevin Owens did try to prevail and put Big E down, and Big E did try to do what he had to do to win the steel cage match, but and then we saw that Big E won the champ. Big E retained his Big E didn't. It was a non-title match, but it could have been a championship match. I thought cage match was designed for the bad guy, not for two good guys, or one good guy and one tweener. Well, after that, Bobby Lashley made his presence felt as he attacked both all three men that was in the championship match: Rollins, Big E, and Owens. I think Bobby Lashley has a claim. Bobby Lashley should be added to the championship match and thus making a fatal four-way. And so Bobby Lashley could win the WWE Championship and regain the title that he lost to Big E. Maybe WWE having second thoughts with Big E putting the championship on him, and Lashley could be the difference maker and be added into the championship match. Defeating one of these guys, you defeat Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens, and I believe Lashley should regain the championship. We'll just see how far they'll go on that. Also, too, Nikki Ash starting to doubt herself when she losing matches. But Nikki Ash was one that she took on Queen Zelina, who now the new tag team champions with Carmella. So Queen Zelina and Carmella now women's tag team champions. Well, Nikki Ash tried to doubt herself, and she's trying to figure out a way that she's not the weak link that what the announcers made it seem like. But Rhea Ripley trying to cheer her on, trying to give her support system. Nikki Ash taking it to Rhea, clothesline her with a superhero powers, but to no effect. Nikki Ash lost the match to Queen Zelina, and she's still trying to doubt herself. So we hope that Nikki Ash could get back onto the momentum and stuff, and get back on her feet and try to say, you know what, it's not me. It's just sometimes you have your wins, you have your losses. I don't know if it what they trying to do. They're trying to bellow her or what. Only time will tell on that. Also, too, the Arcade Bro tournament. I guess it's like a mini tag team tournament where the Street Profits, former Raw Tag Team Champions, and almost in AJ Styles are also no former tag team champions. They went into each other. They had a feud against each other. Street Profits have been having beef with Almas as late. So the Street Profits now taking it to. You see Almas billing one of the Street Profits, Dawkins, and you see Ford trying to do the same to AJ, but as you see right there, almost too big for his own bridges and stuff. And then you got the one that the Street Profits lost. The Street Profits won, so they advanced. AJ and Almas now having disagreements, and it could this be blowing up sooner rather than later. And Raw Tag Team Champion Riddle decided to be a reporter for the night wearing blazers. Okay, Riddle trying to be wearing blazers. Who's telling you this? Vince or Bruce Pritchard or Nick Khan? Who knows? But AJ Styles having a little coming off short, not becoming a tag team champion. AJ don't need to be in the tag team picture. He needs to be either in the U.S. or the World Championship picture. WWE Championship. I don't know why that. And then you can have if Bobby Lashley win, hell, AJ feud with him. Back in the old TNA days, if they was in TNA for a short period, stuff like that. Here's somebody I believe that is doing their meteoric rise slowly, like how other folks was. What's his name? Damian Priest, the United States champion, went against Bobby Roode in the match. Bobby Roode with that delivered the spine buster to Damian Priest, but Damian Priest found a way to kick out Bobby Roode and hit his finisher. I believe Ziggler and Roode on the feud with Priest. Both Ziggler and Roode are former United States champions, so it does make sense for that to happen. So we just have to wait and see on that. Also, too, Doudrop attacks former SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Bella, lay her land. Bianca Bella looking to get revenge on Doudrop, as the Doudrop is seemingly jealous of Bianca Belair's success. Bianca Belair had an amazing, incredible year this year, winning the Royal Rumble this year, main event the night one at WrestleMania, which that made sense. I never thought at the time like the women main event night one and night two, one night the men, one night the women. It makes sense, make absolute sense. But Bianca Belair didn't get the win over Doudrop, but this feud gonna continue on coming forward between the two. Also, too, Edge, the Radar Superstar, made his return to Raw at last week's situation. Edge and the Miz doing Miz TV. Edge came out there and Edge was trying to brown nose the Miz. The Miz was saying, "Why you didn't vouch for me? Why you didn't you know say kind words while walking on eggshells?" Edge said, "I did all those. I experienced the same thing you experienced. You know, we heard the story that Miz was kicked out the locker room because he was eating chicken, and now Miz is a bigger star now." They said that happened when Miz was with Chris Benoit, which that mentality. But then again, you can't kick people out. People got feelings too. So if Chris Benoit did that, then Chris Benoit should be ashamed of himself. And you know why Chris Benoit is why he's at. So you know I'm not going to even elaborate. But Edge saying that you want a match against me, and we'll do the thing, and say, okay, let's do this. So these two men will meet. Not we don't know about last, but with these two men right here, Edge and Miz, both been in Hollywood. Edge done Highlander and that sci-fi show. That show Edge did, and Miz been trying to capitalize on Dance with the Stars as a celebrity superstar. These two will meet at day one in Atlanta for just a battle of respect. So we'll see this match happen at day one in Atlanta. So I think one thing about Edge and Miz, they're gonna the bell tolls, everything gonna go down. Edge and Miz gonna steal the show. That both of them, you think of this is WWE's shot at AEW with that MJF and CM Punk promo. If you got what I'm saying, this is a direct answer to that. Also, too, the Raw Arcade Bro Raw Tag Team Championship tournament continues as Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic are former tag team champion, the first father-son duo to hold a tag team champion, to become tag team champions in WWE. They went against the Alpha Academy in a match. As you see, Chad Gable doing the suplex to Bella suplex to Dominic. Chad Gable doing the same thing to lay down Dominic. Rey Mysterio and Dominic advance, so we'll see next week. Rey Mysterio, Dominic versus the Street Profits next week on Raw. That should be a match that many people want to see. The Street Profits versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic. So we'll see on that. Also, too, Finn Balor took on he's saying that, man, I forget his name. Mace or whatever his name. I call him Dominic Don Jovi. Took on Dominic Don Jovi in a match that many people didn't see coming. You see right there. You see he trying to attack him and beat him down to the ground. Stuff, but Finn Balor capitalized and hit the coup de grace. But out of nowhere, Austin Theory came out of nowhere. Austin Theory tagged Finn Balor and took a selfie with Finn Balor. That's like he did with Jeff Hardy and the rest of them. Austin Theory, I'm trying to impress Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon told Austin Theory do something to impress me and stuff, and Austin Theory do something to impress. I think Mr. McMahon looking at Austin Theory as the next face of WWE. When you think of it, Austin Theory has the height, the look, and being a babyface character down the road. So, how'd that go? And then finally, the main event was for the Raw Women's title as Becky Lynch defends her championship against number one challenger, number one contender, Liv Morgan. This match was all about Liv Morgan. What's this Liv Morgan's moment to be Raw Women's champion? Well, Becky Lynch tried to go after Liv in the beginning, but Liv countered Becky Lynch with no high moves. And then Becky Lynch, as you see right there, doing that German suplex, but Becky Lynch cheated to win after she used the ropes to do that to Liv Morgan. So Becky Lynch cheats to win over Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan had nothing to shame about. Liv Morgan might get her chance, but she'll get her chance down the road eventually. But it won't be, we don't know when. Probably at day one in Atlanta. This will probably be a new reign. Some people saying Becky didn't really need the championship to win it. she could have gave it to Liv and Chase Liv forward and got a belt back. So we'll just wait and see on that. All right, that ends the Raw Ring Report. Like I said, that ends the Raw Ring Report for this week. Let's move over to Hot Topics. On Hot Topics this week, what Hot Topics we talking about is Jeff Hardy, the Charismatic Enigma, did a house show for WWE this past weekend. And he was teaming up with Drew McIntyre and King Woods to take on the Bloodline. Roman Reigns and SmackDown Tag Champions. The Uso, Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion. We know people are pitching and validating that Jeff Hardy gets a Universal Championship match down the road. Now, I've been thinking that if Jeff Hardy gets championship match at Royal Rumble, who knows? Well, we got some footage on what had happened with this. All right, you saw right there, Jeff Hardy walked out during the match. Jeff Hardy saying, you know what, screw it. I'm not even entertaining. We don't know what's going on, but they sent Jeff Hardy home. So only time will tell if, you know, there's been reports too that Fred Prinze Jr. said he was the one that pitched for Jeff Hardy to be champion. Jeff Hardy did become WWE champion, but Jeff Hardy didn't become champion for long because Triple H and many others felt Jeff Hardy wasn't ready and didn't held that responsibility enough to become WWE champion the way he should have. Well, time will tell on that. If Jeff Hardy does get a Universal Championship match. Speaking of that, the writers, we heard that Brian Gertz, former head writer of WWE, is planning to write a book about his time working at WWE. Well, I don't know. Brian Gertz might come back to WWE, or it might be shunned. Who knows? Could you see reading a book about what Brian Gertz went through at his time at WWE? You see Jericho in the middle. Oh, but Brian Gertz, man, into a lot of stuff. I think he was remembered as one of the guys with Jericho to come up with the correct concept of Money in the Bank. You see what WWE did? They took it as a cash flow. Well, we know that tonight could be Johnny Gargaro's final night in NXT, or could it be something else possible? Blooming. Only thing we know is that Gargaro had his match at War Games, his first and only, he claims his last match in War Games. So could we see Johnny wrestling head somewhere else to get his talents known? We know that you see his wife right here, she's blooming. They're supposed to expect a boy coming soon. So anytime soon, rather than later. But Johnny Gargaro will be addressing his future tonight on NXT. So we're anxiously awaiting what Johnny Gargaro is going to do. And is Johnny Gargaro going to take that leave and go elsewhere? Also on NXT, Kyle O'Reilly turned heel on Von Wagner. We thought it was going to be the opposite, but it wasn't. We don't know. It's Kyle O'Reilly. That's his final night in NXT as well. And time will tell on that. Well, like I said, I hope it's not the case, but it always could be the possibility and stuff. But Von Wagner, one of the sons of Wayne Bloom of the Wrecking Crew, if many of you might know, of the Beverly Brothers in the WWE and the Wrecking Crew in the AWA. He looks just like his dad. His dad shouldn't be. His dad used to always do those commercials. Hold on, let me tell you something. He's Teddy Pop about to speak. Hold on, let me say something. Well, we'll just have to see where it's going to be. Also, too, and Raw was in Memphis as Jerry King Lawler. There were reports that he signed a new contract with WWE. The King did a segment where fans saying, "I want your autograph." I knew it was staged because, I mean, King, I mean, a black woman asking the king for an autograph. Many black women, some black women might know who the king is, but many black women don't. But Jerry Lawler, I think what they just should have done just had him play his music and then just speak to the crowd. That, simple, easy stuff. Before during the commercial break, and leave it like that, or before the show starts, because King like to speak. King like to get his words across. Have him do that. So Jerry King Lawler, we don't know. It's rumor report that he signed a new deal with WWE going forward. Also, too, speaking of King's broadcast partner, good old JR, Jim Ross. Well, Jim Ross will not be on the AEW Dynamite shows for right now, as he is getting treatment for his skin cancer and stuff. JR being open and transparent about his skin cancer treatment, getting chemotherapy. So, good friend Mick Foley came and visited Jim Ross and wanted to see how good old JR was doing. Good old JR trying to get as much encouragement. And we here at the Pro Wrestling Show wish good old JR speedy recovery and come on back and commentate for AEW. Yeah, I like to see him commentate for the first AEW when they go on TBS. Be like hit for home for him and Tony Schiavone, who've been the staples of TBS back in the day, back in the 80s and stuff. Okay. Also, too, we know that Big E, they show Big E gear, and Big E showing his Christmas out attire of what he's been wearing for Christmas. So Big E doing the thing. So Big E is. So hey. With Big E showing his Christmas, the current WWE champion. Need to be warning his sights on who. Lastly, it's over. Rollins and Owens, they playing him. Lashley wants gold back. That's all Lashley wants. Speaking of Lashley knows these four men very well. He doesn't know Brock Lesnar very well, but I know he knows just about everybody. John Cena. Next year will be a milestone for John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, and Batista. But we know Batista said that he retired, but if Batista would have stayed on. But you can tell Batista's still like a WWE lifer. So, he'll make appearances every now and then. He don't wrestle, but he make appearances. But next year around this time in April, March, mainly next spring, because all of them debut in the spring. Randy Orton, there'll be 20 years. 20 years for all of them. And 20 years made their permanent debuts on SmackDown and Raw. No, Brock made his debut night after WrestleMania 18 when he just delivered carcass. And ever since he's been delivering that, Brock Lesnar is set to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at day one. Batista went on to his last feud was against Triple H, and that was his retirement match. We didn't know at the time. We thought Triple H and Batista was going to each other's retirement matches. That what it could have been like. But Batista went on to do Guardians of the Galaxy. He's doing more movies in Hollywood, so Batista being a threat. Same way as Cena. John Cena's last appearance was at WrestleMania last year when the Fiend Bray Wyatt made him disappear. But other than that, John Cena making movies as well. Randy Orton, the only one, and Brock are the only ones in the wrestling business. Randy Orton is a tag team champion, and it's been 20 years. So congratulations to all four men on their achievement, celebrating 20 years as they made their debuts in WWE. Also, too, Will Ospreay, who was supposed to be a staple in coming into MLW, well, he's not coming in no longer, so we don't know what's going on with Ospreay in MLW. I mean, I think MLW is coming up. Impact coming up a little bit, but they don't want to spend no money. Ring of Honor as well. I mean, you have to spend some money to be number 3. And I think it's a battle of number 3 between them 3 companies. I would say Impact in a way, making moves, but MLW as well has a strong presence. And then the NWA do too, but they said the NWA got said something about the NWA they had the event and it wasn't drawn as much. And then the NWA like to say that the state of Georgia told them they couldn't have that many people. They need to Billy Corgan got more money than that. He just cheap and don't want to invest that much. You got to invest. If you want to build your brand, you have to invest. You just can't be trying to cut corners. And that's what I think Billy Corgan doing. And I think a little bit Court Ballard is doing a little bit too. But I give Court Ballard this. He's trying things. He's trying to implement things and trying to figure out things as he go. What would make my financial sense? Because you don't want to put yourself in the red. You want to make sure you come out of the red and stuff. So that's what's going on. And I hope they find a way to reconsider and bring him back. I would think he'd be an awesome talent to sign to MLW. And, you know, he's been bulking up, so he's been prepping himself in the men's division. So I don't get why. It's just only time will tell on that. And then we know Tony Khan said something too about he's been talking about WCW comparing ratings and stuff about AEW to WCW. I look at it like this: don't worry about what WCW did in the past. It's history. You on the same network where WCW was on, so use that, capitalize that, and figure out ways how to make your brand better, not a dead brand that's not existing no more. I think that's what Tony Khan does. He tries to compare himself to WCW with his brand. We can't worry about WCW no more. So leave WCW in the past. All right. That does it for Hot Topics. That does for the Pro Wrestling Show Raw Ring Report. We will have a ring report for the NXT ring report sometime tomorrow. So look out for that. So for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, we'll see you at the matches. See you later.